Alright, that was fun, but now we're gonna be back to us singing. Obviously, Vaccine. How about something from Vaccine? They probably got their first album on these machines. Yeah, let's export some culture to these nerds. Oh god, there's no way I'm singing anything but the chorus. Here it comes. Boosted, yeah, yeah. Come wanna get boosted, yeah, yeah. Admit that you're boosted, yeah, yeah. It's becoming hard to keep a smile off my face. Synthé throws drinks back like a chaebol executive, and it's finally starting to affect her poise. Get boosted! Yeah, yeah! Chaeyoung, shall I take you on a world tour? The fans, how they flock to your angry demeanor. I can see it clearly, 1,000 yen to hear you say, Baka Janai? Doesn't that mean, like, you idiot or something? I'm not really cut out for that kind of thing. Half the guys at Gear Flame booth were only there because they've never spoken to a girl in real life. Wow! Wow, that was savage! We're performers. It's our job, nay, our duty, to give the people what they want. Maybe you are, but I'm a competitor. Skill alone should carry my name. It would if you won every game you played, but take a moment and think. Every esports champion, every successful person, what are the barriers they face on their way to glory? It's the same for everyone. You have to grind. Wrong, my dear. She punctuates her decree with a snap. Half the room momentarily glances away from Zen's mumbled rap. Oh, Zen. See, the problem is, I know two Taiwanese. Like when I think of Taiwanese people, I can think of two people. And the problem is that's 100% what I think Zen looks like. If you've watched Linus Tech Tips, there's Dennis. And if you followed Hearthstone, it's their last year's winner. And the idea of either of them trying to rap something in a karaoke with a bunch of people around. The idea of anybody doing that, hilarious. When Bolt yearned to play Starcraft, he simply did. There are hundreds of Bolts. Boys who became strong through some combination of luck, time, and talent. Hey, I'm one of a kind. Chaeyoung quiets me with a pinch on the back of my arm. The Jets of the Jets of the world face those same initial barriers out of luck, time, and talent, but there's a critical addition. Is she gonna say that you're a girl? Oops. Oh. Starcraft isn't for you, and your culture and every other. It says your culture and every other. You don't see Jets in the XSL or great numbers at your local PC Pong. What? I played at a PC Pong all the time with my brother. And what luck you had with him, otherwise imagine allowing yourself to devote much time to Starcraft. It's untenable for most girls to play a competitive game for hours on end it is in her formative years. Peers you'd otherwise befriend shun you for your bizarre and supposedly masculine hobby. Not... Okay. Maybe in 2008, but dude. Let's be real here. If I met somebody who plays games, I would be so hyped. Like, I would have been happy knowing ladies who played video games when I was going through all of my school. In fact, some of my best friends were made because we played games together. To be fair, there were stuff like Rock Band, which also, phenomenal game, by the way. But I guess, again, 2008 versus now, very different. You find yourself surrounded by men who share little in common aside from the game you play. It's not just an environment that fosters passion or growth. It's those few remaining Jets rarely improve as their Bolt counterparts do. So many acquiesce to the pressure and quit. Quit to the pressure? Acquiesce. accept something reluctantly but without protest. That's a really actually solid word that I could see using for a lot of things that I'd never thought about before. All this to say, don't compare yourself to Bull. As far as I'm concerned, you've already accomplished far more than he'd have in your shoes. Even if all that's true, and I'm not saying that it is, what good does knowing it do for me? Right now I can't pay for an apartment without reaching into my savings. I'm not where I want to be, and telling myself that's okay won't get me there. I understand that perfectly well. Sorry, I'm trying to fix that a little bit. But this brings us back to where we started. Why suffer guilt if someone offers a little help? Take the advantage today and dismantle the inequities tomorrow. Look, I get you have this big picture view of things. It's admirable, I guess, but if I'm honest, I don't care about being anything for anyone. That includes the Jets, as you put it. Is that the band? The Jets? That's a shame. Tell me then, Jae-young, what would satisfy you above all else? I want to confront all the managers and executives that pushed me into interviews and photo shoots when I should have been training. I want to prove to them they were wrong about me. The only way I can do that is if you become strong and destroy everyone. You'd be hard-pressed to find a starving competitor whose insecurity and worry wouldn't be solved by a championship. Sunghwan, how would you describe Jae-young? She's my partner and rival. The only reason I performed well at ICG was all the practice she gave me. Plus, she's got a need to one-up me that keeps me on my toes. Obviously, he's gonna say that. Sunghwan and I are close. I know they won't accept me like he does, not until I prove it. Why don't you get this? Your team won, so of course people respect you as a player. But there must have been a time before you'd won anything that they didn't. Cleaning my glasses, because I gotta see. Lace up there. Added an APM counter to my layout. Nice. There was. And many asserted that I was a hacker. It didn't stop me from entering online comps until I was recruited by an amateur team. This actually sounds kind of familiar. Because if I'm not mistaken, right now, correct me if I'm wrong, right now we have more professional female esports players than ever before, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't mean like the teams that were made just to be like, we want all female teams, just to have all female teams. Like in normal competition, seen as being 100% well, not 100% equals. Nobody's ever going to argue anybody in pro is seen as equal to everybody else. But to me, they're total equals to their pros. At least now and today, we have more than we ever did before. Although, I'll be honest, it's not a very big number. I can only think of 2. At my first big LAN, I was so racked by nerves that I missed nearly all of my shots. It emboldened people to speak their mind at me much more often. That's horrible. But even after that, the teams wanted me since they could put a face to my name. What I found in the year was follow those broken promises and lessons to go with them. Frankly put, I had never been the ace of any team I joined, but I realized that if having my name on the roster courts the sponsors to pay for 4 other world-class players, I don't need to be. And you're okay with that? Do I dream of single-handed flawless victory? Of course. But as well as these oafs shoot, they can barely book their own plane tickets. Supergirl Kells was ranked 100th in Smash 4's final power rankings. That's pretty good. Like, top 100 is no joke. But that's actually really cool to know. So it's Smash, there's an Overwatch Pro, there's a Starcraft Pro. I don't know about League if there's been an actual League Pro that's been female yet. She was a Sonic main and not a bad one at that. Well, fair. I'm hoping that right now, I think it's genuinely the same kind of problem of people saying, I don't see anybody, or I don't want to do that hobby. But the more people see them, the more they're like, why can't I? Like, it's just a percentage thing right now, I feel. Like, there's just so few girls playing. And I don't know, because I'm not, but I don't know. Haven't really seen Smash Ultimate, but everyone migrated to it, so she's probably there as well. I would believe. Smash Ultimate's amazing, by the way. Love it to death. Thought about playing it a bunch. Played it quite a bit with my roommate and my friends, and then kind of stopped. Gatekeepers won $50,000 at this tournament, and the top prize pool of the year. Split it between 5, and it's barely a sneeze in comparison to what a normal job pays. As of today, wins are not our most valuable commodity. In fact, I've been thinking about moving into a team owner role. That's exactly the fate I've been trying to avoid. I don't want to be let a messed up system shoehorn me into a role it thinks I'm better suited for. I want to play. That's all I want. Don't misunderstand. Counter-Strike has been my greatest passion for me more than 5 years. But there will come a day when I set aside this life for something new. When it's time, I can't let myself be afraid to step away. We can grind until we're dust. But I'd rather keep that spark lit somewhere inside of me. I never worry about burnout. I'm too vindictive for it. I find it strange you'd want to celebrate that. Because it's the one thing I know for sure. I know it's unhealthy, but I'd be lying to myself if I said spite isn't what pulls me out of bed most days. It's a relief to understand that about myself. You are an unusual girl, Chaeyoung. A motivated one with a clear goal and the means to achieve it. I'm glad to have shared your company this weekend. If you hadn't offered me the job I've been complaining about, we wouldn't have been able to come here in the first place. I owe you. All I ask in return is this. You need not believe in it, but lift up another jet when you find yourself with the means to. Tell us about yourself. I want to know about the pro gamer Sente. No. Tell us about Jessica. I want to know about your life before you got into all this. Are you sure? Sente's life is much more exciting than Jessica's was. Very well, but only if you promise to share as well, Chaeyoung. We had a top-of-the-line computer hardware in our home for as long as I can remember. For many of the pre-installed programs, it was a test audience for one of my father. He was a man who lived and breathed his work. The little time he made for me as a child was precious, and every sense he made sure I was well equipped for 8 years of boarding school. My mother, bless soul, I didn't fit the mold of the daughter she'd planned for. Much to her displeasure, I spent my summers home from the school entirely in devotion to Counter-Strike. I'd like to be somewhere very different right now. She'd had tried a little harder. But day drinking Chardonnay with their old sorority sisters was just too enticing. Now then, Chaeyoung, your turn. Seonghwan, would you mind going first? What? I never agreed to volunteer that kind of information. We're colleagues, we're drinking. Be a good sport. Fine. My dad's a partner at a financial company. He and my mom don't like Starcraft. Naturally. That's really all I have to say. Bull, you complain about them all the time. When I was younger, I don't agree with how they felt, but at least try to understand and empathize with them. If you're not going to be honest, then I'll just go. Seonghwan already knows most of this, but my dad has a solid career as a construction manager. He even got my older brother good work right out of high school. The same who taught you Starcraft? Yeah. My parents were cool. If I was happy, they were happy. I loved my childhood. And then one day my dad tried to embezzle money out of his company's projects and got caught. I don't know why he did what I did, whether it was pressure to keep our lifestyle or just plain greed. Dad tried to pay the money into my brother's account, which implicated them both, and mounting court costs and no income, my mom had to go back to work. My brother gets out next year, but my dad has another 5 years to go. That's unfathomable. How old were you? 14. My uncle stepped in to help my mom, but didn't want anything to do with them. With anybody, really. Thank God for PC Pongs and people and the games inside them. Chet stares at me for a moment and then looks away. I hope that confiding in us offers you the comfort you deserve. It affected me back then. That's undeniable. But I've beaten those feelings so far down that I'm not sure how I feel anymore. Wow, I was really not expecting this background in a Jet, and it's very depressing. I'm sure they'll bubble back to the surface horribly someday. Here's to that. Jet clinks her glass against mine and drowns herself in baijiu. Cynthia is a font of experience and knowledge. I don't know how much about foreign esports, but I bet she's unique within that industry. Something's been bothering me. Why did Jet tell you that I was her brother? Cynthia's expression cracks with a smile, then shifts her eyes to Chaeyoung. She says nothing, leaving Jet to fill the awkward silence. To get you a free plane ticket? But how? I don't understand how that earned me an expensive flight. Can we not do this? What? Why? What did you say? I told her that I was your carer and that I couldn't leave you home alone. Cynthia finally bursts, unable to contain her laughter any longer. That's hilarious. You told her I was sick? Like terminally ill? Sung-hwan, there is an art to my ways. To know every detail of their inner workings ruins the magic behind them. Okay, you know what? Never mind. That was super worth it. No! I want to go back. More star. Say, I'm not done yet. I think Tribal is the next one. Yeah, it is. Given that your dad used to work at Eclairsoft, you'll be at home if you ever get involved with the KPGA. Yeah, the Korean companies that sponsor Starcraft are vaunted and valuable organizations. I'd be highly interested to know how and why your country's chaebols came so involved with Starcraft. It's hard to put it into words. There's a certain pride for a country that's #1 at something, right? Especially for the XSL's title sponsors. It's about that association. Yeah, well, I wouldn't drink Charge just because Fierce told me to. Maybe some stupider might. Come, Chaeyoung, you know it isn't that simple. As long as our living is beholden to the whims of advertisers, it's important to understand their inner workings. Yeah. How much do you know about the Korean Programming Association? A little bit. I'm conscious about the need for such an organization abroad, but they've clearly done good work for StarCraft. Truthfully, the developers of the game we play will probably fulfill that role for us. It's already in their interest for the game to succeed. That leaves a bad taste in my mouth. No one owns basketball or soccer, nor should they. KPGA does good work for esports. I'm aware that the average Korean feels different about this than the average American or European, but this is a war you're destined to lose. What I'm curious about is the role that KPGA plays in managing its players. Are there regulations on base salary or set hours? Not at all. All they care about is greasing the wheels and pulling in sponsors. The KPGA isn't on the players' sides. There will come a day when programmers wield enough power to consolidate into a union like professional athletes here in America. But I don't believe we'll see it until I've long retired. Something like that isn't necessary. If there's a demand for us, we won't need to scheme behind closed doors. You may wish to consider why the vast majority of pro gamers can't pay rent, but those who organize your labor wear suits. Players' union mustn't be a club or a meeting group. A players' union mustn't be a club, group meeting, or a group text. For it to have purpose, it must be a force. The strong must fight for the weak. Agreed. This isn't the first time you've spoken about this, is it? One has plenty of free times to think during international travel at Sheyong. Let us hope that I'm not in position to oppose the economic interests of future pro gamers for their sakes. Lay it on us, Sinthe. What do you think it means to be a pro gamer? I hope you're ready for a cynical take. Jet thumps her chest twice and grunts. She eliminates all distance between herself and Sinthe, much to Jessica's amusement. Yes! Give it to me. Off go, King. Pro gaming is a ridiculous life. I can count on one hand the number of Americans who have turned their skills into a great, healthy career. Counting yourself? Careful, Sunghwan. As one equipped to potentially take advantage of growth that seems to be on the horizon, I acknowledge that I am in a unique position. Because you have money. Because my father has money. For the majority of pro gamers, the uncertainty must be crushing. But what is life without dreams and risk? We all know that someday esports will be a popular and mainstream enterprise. What we don't know is whether or not that means 10 or 50 years, and thus whether there's a point in investing today. Oh, you're back at it. Hi, my name is Mini Muffins, and I have no concept of how time works. I mean... Wait, why would you be Mini Muffins? Because... thinking. Okay. Yeah, no, I'm still back at it. I'm here for about two more hours, unless the game just ends. The only thing truly tangible is our love for the game. What we'd do if no one paid us mind or money. We've got that. And most of us do. For now, everything else is just icing on the cake. That's everything I could possibly want to bring up. Lots to take in. Plus, it's getting kind of late. Mini Mish and Flying Muffins. I was gonna say, you're not Mini Muffins, you're Flying Muffins. If any Mini, you're only Mini Mish. Foreigners have plenty of ground to make up when it comes to esports. But you're different from the rest of them. Thanks for everything, Sinthe. Sunghwan, a word of advice. A man I respect once told me that the more you learn about esports, the less you know is certain. There is no harder fall than defeat at the hands of the mocked. Don't underestimate your games to foreigners. And Sheyong, remember, you may not like it, but you have a duty to more than just yourself. For the sake of all Jets, play well. Now then, is it my turn again? Sinthe sets down her glass and wades her way through a dozen legs with a mic in hand. We should go karaokeing sometimes, Muffins. I'm sure that would go so well. Sinthe's advice that we avoid cabs this late gives us a chance to enjoy this walk one last time. Unlike before, Jet shows no restraint in knocking against my arm when it's so late. It puts me in no great rush to return. Gray and hissing the sea may be, it reflects enough moonlight to bathe our walk home in white. When I catch Jet staring up at me, it's hard to ignore her melancholy. You got what we came for. I'm glad. And what about you? I'm going to work hard and find my next opportunity. It's all I know how to do. You complain a lot, but you sure are tough. Don't make it sound so lofty. I'm just a girl who wants to play a game. If that's all you were. I trail off before I can figure out what I wanted to say. At first, I think that she didn't notice. That is, until we tread the rest of the way to the hotel in silence. Chaeyoung escapes my side and stumbles her way to the edge of her bed. Nothing changes when we get back. We'll train, whether or not the team that wants me allows it. Don't make a promise you can't keep. I won't. Doesn't change what I just said.
Young doesn't buy it, but she's too tired to say anymore. I watch her inch up the bed and fumble it away onto the pillow.
Our flight's early. Get some sleep.
When I'm ready.
Oh, that's them. Hold steady.
What the? Who said you could come back here?
Oh, sorry, but this is a big moment. I just want to congratulate him, and that's in a way that's memorable. So act like everything's normal, and we'll do the rest.
Minsa, is that you? After a long pause, we watch Minsa's head inch above the counter, stopping once her eyes are level with the surface.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I love her eyes. She's always so cute. Surprise!
What she said?
Congrats on second, Sungwon! I'm totally dying to hear about the trip. It seemed like crazy when I saw you beat Locke.
That she did.
Oh, come on. You seem pretty happy too, Mr. Clerk.
Of course. I put bets on his games. Sungwon's wins paid out huge odds. Suppose you can have today free of charge for that. You'll be surprised what old expats and bitter leftists will put on a game of Starcraft.
Can we take this somewhere else? Go ahead, Minso. I'll catch up.
When I log into my station, though, I've got no intention of grinding matches today. It was a hassle to browse AC Inside from my phone, so I can only catch it.
Whoa. That didn't happen. You saw nothing. I don't... So the problem is, like, if you did uwu, I know how to say uwu. But, like, you can't... Greater than, W, less than sign. Like, can't really say that. I wish there was a way to say it, because that would be more fun.
Only catch bits and pieces of the reaction, but now I can enjoy it in full. Check it. I point out the thread with the ICG results. It's got almost 100 pages now, most of which are solely devoted to ragging on Locke. Amid that, the netizens widely acknowledge me as an underrated player. Those that aren't mocking CHB renown are guessing what team will sign me.
We expected as much. Don't gloat too much. Wow, Sungwon, your fan club is gonna explode. I'll have to give extra tips to whoever decides to manage it. Have you heard from any teams?
Not yet. All my points of contact were with CHB renown. Even if they wanted to get in touch, I'm not sure they could.
They should move fast or they'll miss out. Maybe you should go see if anybody at the KPGA office has a lead for you.
That's a good idea. They'll probably want to hear about ICG while you're there.
That reminds me, would you guys be willing to play in my tournament? Might help us attract some good players to sign up.
Like some kind of local meetup?
Yeah, I was telling Yuna about how I want to be a Star League hostess, and she pointed out that I have to get experience in another job to get hired. No league or tournament wants an amateur host. We checked. But if I run it myself, I'll get the chance.
KPGA players aren't allowed to participate in non-sanctioned tournaments.
Oh, well, I could try to organize it super secretly, and then maybe you could join in?
Where's the venue? JY High School? Min shuts out her hands outward and does a full twirl. Here at the Golden Zone Fire, apparently.
I already asked Mr. Clerk, and he said he'd think about it.
That's not yes, but okay. You're looking for PC time.
No, I wanted to ask you about your store. I'm Yuna.
You can call me Ku. Go ahead then.
I see PC bongs on every street corner, but I know almost nothing about them. What does it take to run one?
It's nothing to aspire to, if that's what you're wondering.
I didn't think it was. Sorry, what I meant is I'm interested in alternatives, learning about them.
PC fees almost cover the lease. Vending machine sales keep me out of the red. I make it work by living in the office downstairs. Been at it for half a decade now.
Do you enjoy it?
You can learn to enjoy the struggle.
I've always heard that, but I can't seem to with this test.
That's different. What they put you kids through these days. Our government used to outlaw cram schools. Did you know that? Cram schools widen the gap between those who can and can't attend it, and dulls the spark for those that do. I'll stop there. You and your classmates aren't doing anything wrong. It is the fault of adults.
No, I appreciate it. It's a relief to hear someone else say it out loud, but I only understand as a feeling.
I don't have good advice for you. Those two might have more to offer you than I do.
Just lie, Minsa. How many times have I told you to lie to these people? You owe them nothing. It'd have been way easier for you to run it at school. Your untamed spirit inspires me, Jet. Don't let any KPGA teams hear you say that stuff.
Speaking of, I'm off to the office. Want to come, Chaeyoung?
Pass. I don't think I'm ready for that yet. But good luck.
Yeah, later. Nice offices. Barely a year ago, I stepped into this office. At the time, I was set to move to an overseas dorm by the end of the month. My braver win guaranteed me nothing but my license, but I was certain that I demonstrated the qualities as an amateur qualities an amateur should embody. A week later, I'd shattered my life's trajectory irrevocably. From our cramped team house, I reveled in my new freedom and shook with anxiety as to whether or not I'd made a mistake. Would I do it all again? I answered that question for myself as soon as I walked through those glass doors at the front. Without appointment, I'm relying on recognition to get me past the waiting room and face-to-face with the coordinator. I doubt the receptionist has a clue who I am. Yet, when I step forward to test whether or not that's true, I catch a glimpse of Coach Box down the hall. I can make this work. You should also say sorry, because he had nothing to do with you getting cut, and he's a very nice guy. Just saying.
Coach Pak. Hey, wait a second.
But I'm too quick. She considers chasing after me, but decides against it when Coach Pak, wide-eyed panic subsides.
Seunghwan, what a surprise to see you here. Or not, I suppose, after this weekend. Congratulations, by the way.
Can you help me get a meeting with one of the KPGA liaisons?
Coach Pak leans back onto his heels, taken suddenly by the thought.
When he answers, it's with an uncommon fatality.
I see. Well, I'm supposed to have a meeting with the vice chairman in a few minutes. Why don't you tag along? I'm sure he'd be interested to hear about the ICG.
As expected. Still, this turned out pretty well. Any coach might have done it, but
that it's Coach Pak makes anything better.
Whatever I can do to help the organization.
Great. Anyway, the conference room is down the right in this hall. Just follow me.
The KPGA building is just as impressive as any other corporate headquarters. With so many high-profile sponsors, it's important to show that our teams are worthy of bearing their names. Coach Pak finds a seat in the waiting room outside of the offices further down the hall. Whoever he came to meet must be busy. There's little for me to say to him. I don't want to rejoin CHP Renown anymore. We wait in silence for almost 10 minutes before a man in a tight-fitting suit steps out of an elevator and into the hallway. Coach Pak rises, expecting him to wave us into an office. Instead, a man surveys us briefly and takes a seat across from us. He says nothing, eyes set on Coach Pak.
Oh, okay. Afternoon, Vice Chair. I hope you don't mind, but I brought a guest along.
There's zero chance that the Vice Chairman of Operations recognizes me, but I remember him well from my KPGA orientation. Of all the speeches I heard that day, his was mercifully short and succinctly powerful. We may compete, but we're all on the same team.
Seunghwan Yi, Vice Chairman. Bolt is my handle.
Do you have a license?
He does. Seunghwan took second place at ICG Zoo High last weekend.
Christ, who keeps letting low-level talent outside the country? It was the only path forward I saw. I'm Coach Pak's former player. currently teamless. You cut this young man?
Well, I'm in charge of the roster.
The vice chair flicks a hand at Coach Puck and then takes the documents that Puck retrieves from his folder. As much as I'd like to take a shot at him, at Coach Puck, while I'm in front of the vice chairman, I must stay professional. It's in the past. Right now I'm more focused on getting back onto a team than anything. Shouldn't have much issue with their recent placing. I know that Shock T1 has space on its roster. I'm interested. My time on CHB Renown prepared me for a leap like that. Coach doesn't seem to know what to say. What I see in his face isn't modesty, but embarrassment. With his eyes still set on the page, Vice Chairman Cho answers the question of what Coach Bach is doing here. At least they could do one thing, right?
I should have said so earlier. Sung Hwan, but CHB Incorporated is pulling out of the league.
And according to this, Renown can't afford to run past the end of the month without a title sponsor's support. Wait, are you serious? The vice chair eyes me, and that stare I see two things. One, quiet down, and two, keep this matter private. I didn't realize this situation was so dire.
I thought Box XSL run last season might have kept us going. It's a shame.
There's decent talent on CHB Renown, but our team's league results were mostly underwhelming. I get CHB's Incorporated's disappointment, but dropping the entire team entirely? What'll happen to the players? That's what we're here to decide. 7 teams won't do. Bad for optics, and for Team League, bad for stability. I can't believe I'm considering this.
It should only be temporary. We'll find another sponsor as soon as possible. This could even be a good thing. CHB wasn't exactly a premium partner in comparison to the other team sponsors.
My brother-in-law chairs head distribution at CHB. Nice job, Coach Puck.
Oh. Sorry. We'll move
ahead, tentatively. And for love of God, don't call the team KPGA Renown.
Right. Thank you, Vice Chairman. I promise to reward the faith you've put in us.
I'm withholding your KPGA salary until you fix this, Puck. Find a sponsor by the year's end, or you're out.
Yes, sir. Will do.
Now then, I'll put forward a recommendation on the Coach Kong. That should help you on your way.
You do that for me? Just like that?
You strike me as committed. I'd like to see more of that in our players. Loyalty pays in this organization.
I am. And sorry, but I have something unreasonable to ask. Recommend Chae Young's song for Shock T1 as well, please.
No. She failed Shock T1 once before.
I know things didn't work out, but Chae Young is as good of a player and can still be an asset to the league.
I don't know what you think gives you the authority to say that. For as valuable as she is, she should have been to our marketing efforts. Just after a few months, Song was impossible to work with.
Then another team? Anything you can do, it's important to me.
When I offer a recommendation, I offer my honest feelings. In your case, it serves you well. In hers, it doesn't. If it's so important to you, ask Coach Kong yourself. That all?
Yes, sir. I understand.
Good. Before you go, I have a few questions about ICG.
After answering to the best of my memory about venue size, sponsors, and demographics and personnel numbers from last weekend, Cho stands and stomps into his office. I can hear the vice chairman pound numbers into a desk phone and through the wall. That went all right for the both of us, I think. Yeah, I appreciate the introduction. It's nothing. I'll admit, we're in a real slump though, if Locke can't perform. If Jet's back on the market, we could make room for her on the roster. The fence spot could really help, and she's got it in droves. Think she'd want to join Renown? You'd offer that for her? After cutting me? I didn't think you'd mind after such a great offer from Shock T1. You have to understand that we could use Jet more as more than just a practice partner. I could even play her in Team League right away. If you had asked before ICG, she might have said yes, but it's too late now.
I won't let her join Renown. It's not in her interest. Don't take it personally. I'd feel guilty if this setback puts an end to your coaching career. Without waiting for his response, I offer a slight smile and then stroll out of the KPGA offices. A peek into Golden Zone Fire on my way back to the Goshi One reveals that only Yuna stuck around. I find her with a chair wheeled behind Smoke's desk. She mentioned something about computer trouble back at home, but a PC Pong doesn't make much of a study spot. How long until the exam? 10 weeks? 82 days. 82 days until the end of my life my life either begins or ends. That wasn't a suicide threat. Stop looking at me like that. Being around you is off-putting. Wow. Gee, thanks. No, I mean, that was exactly like you. A little sharper around the edges, maybe, but I remember what you're going through like it was yesterday. I follow as she makes her way down the steps and into the street. Uh-huh. Really. And in another life, I'd be doing all the things your parents expect you to next year. Not everyone, but you and Cheon are mindless, conforming drones. For me, this life is mandatory. I don't think that. If you're working towards the things you want, I've got nothing but admiration for you. I'm not. Because like most people, I don't get to chase after the exact thing I want. I want to travel. I want my own house. These things are only realistic if I go to a college in America, but my family can't afford unless I get a scholarship. I know exactly how broken the system is that mandates cram school. If every student in Korea agreed to stop going tomorrow, we'd save our youths and our parents money. But that's the hand we've all been dealt, and it's play or lose. You are competitive and clearly survive in a society that demands that. The rest of us are simply surviving, so don't call us the same. Wow, that got really real. When you get the test score you want, you'll change your mind. I hate that you're probably right. Before we part ways at her door, Yuna turns towards me. You're lucky to know Chaeyoung. She is like you. It makes our minor differences more noticeable. But you're right. I am. It's rare to have someone like that. If you didn't know... She hangs on to that, then retreats behind her door without meeting my eyes again. I pray this will be the last weekend I spend at the Goshiwan. There's nothing I want to remember about this place, and hardly anything to pack. Leaving behind the hotel room in Zhuhai was probably more of a struggle. That day in CHB Renown House is still with me, but I'm a pro gamer until I decide otherwise. Motivational posters say failure means giving up, but relentless pursuit of the impossible isn't success. Even I, who could live on the dregs of my upbringing indefinitely, know that dead ends a lot. Even I, who could live on the dregs of my upbringing indefinitely, know the dead ends that await a life like that. Did I have to learn, or was it in my blood? Either way, it's what led me to come this far in the first place. I'm sorry about the delay, Sungwon. Come on in. I'll be honest, it didn't occur to me at the time, but it makes sense, and I think it's a storyline fans will dig. Come on, that pic of us with the flag? Fierce grins wide, accepting the pen when I return it. As for a formal contract as this one, everything surrounding my return seems remarkably casual. The commentators will call me a traitor prince. Nah, Kijung's the one catching most of the heat from the fans. Good, it's what he deserves. It's better we keep real personal issues like that quiet. That's a little too much meat for the netizens. Still, I don't know how I'd feel if a mentor turned on me like that. Can't promise we won't field you against him in Team League, though. I'm cool with that. You're the one calling the shots on the Team League roster? Fierce spins the pen deftly. The feat a little too impressive to perform without an observer to appreciate it.
Coach Kong works more like a team manager. We built the culture heavy on initiative. You won't find set schedules or practice hours here. It's not my job to call the lineup for Team League, but the guys defer to me because I've got the best grasp on who to field. Lots of stuff like that on Shock T1. Hope you can adapt.
Is it true you've got maid service? This is a nice house, by the way.
Once a week. CHB renown doesn't... That's depressing. 200,000 won a month isn't much, but it'll add up with your other expenses paid for.
I'm sorry. What? All expenses paid for. So like food, housing. But only 200 a month. Sorry, at first my brain was thinking yen. But that's not right. I mean, shoot. Housing in a place like this, food. All you have to do is... Yeah, no. I'm pretty sure most people I know would take that. I made almost 30 times that amount with my $6,000 in second place at the ICG payout. Still, it's better than what CHB Renown was paying me, which was nothing. Just as Fierce offers the final page of my SOC T1 contract, I hold a hand at him. Wait. I know this is sudden, but is there room for another on the roster?
You couldn't have bought this up earlier? Who?
Chae Young-song.
Oh, her,
I know it didn't end well the first time.
Do you know why it didn't end well? She has ego problems. She doesn't take criticism well, and she isn't a team player. I'm surprised you associate with her.
Is it true she wasn't allowed to live in the team house?
That was what the team wanted at the time. I'm not going to defend whether or not that was the right thing to do, but it was a majority decision.
Could you expect her to be a part of the team if she couldn't really feel like one? Really, was she treated anything like more than a face to market?
She wanted to compete. I saw it even when the management didn't. But it isn't just enough to want it. Even though it's turned out to be a huge benefit to us, Jet was the catalyst for us to set up the practice room at Co-OEX. But she left before it was up and running.
I didn't know that, but that isn't what I asked.
I've got to say, you've got some serious guts to dredge this up. We'll convene with the team tonight. If you can sell them on her, she can join.
I appreciate it.
You wouldn't have asked this if it wasn't important. If she plans to live at the house, let her know it'll be hard to find privacy.
She'll manage. I'm certain of that. Especially with the hotel room. Like, she can manage the hotel room. Pretty sure she can manage that.
What is this, charity? I was doing fine on my own. I don't need your pity.
You push me towards the best version of myself.
I want you as my teammate. I don't deserve it.
What? Of course you do.
I don't deserve it. I don't deserve it. I don't deserve it. I need to refute that. It's wrong. When I try, my jaw locks.
I bring a hand to my face and notice my lips are missing. A scream dies in my neck.
I don't deserve it. I don't deserve it. I don't deserve it.
She turns away. Light edges into my vision. Then, wait. I feel my body, then my loose undershirt. I'm sweating. My hand goes to my mouth. Relief washes over me. My new Shock T1 teammates agreed to take Jet after some incessant convincing. What do I have to be worried about? This is an earned triumph. For both of us. The single box I moved in place waits on the desk. All my possessions, now including my contract and a tax form from ICG. I dress, gather my things, and close the door behind me for the last time. It's too early to meet up. You better have good news. Chae Young rubs her eyes and yawns wide. It spreads to a nearby patron who has clearly been here all night. I accepted an offer yesterday. As expected, still good to hear. From Shock T1. Well, they're a top-tier team. Can't complain. And they want you as well. Oh. Wow, you're serious? I'm serious. Well, alright. I guess I owe you one. Thanks. Yeah, you're welcome. That makes us teammates now. No big change there. And they'll let you live in the team house. I made sure. That's great. I can't call you good for nothing, huh? If you'd rather look somewhere else, I won't stop you, but now we're even. What? Why would I? We both made it back in. This is why we hang out in the first place. She peeks into the box on my PC desk, poking through clothes and papers till she finds what she's looking for. My license. Look at that face. I bet you thought you'd have a Star League win within the year. Now you can, and I'll be there to see you do it. You're there to do it yourself. This is a competition. You can move in whenever you're ready. No salary, at least first. Well, you got a bed and a station. That makes me practice partner, huh? I'm gonna take some time to think. You'll see me tonight. I ran a hand through my hair. I guess that's it. But before I can head out... What was this? You get kicked out of your house or something? No. Invited back into it, actually. He squints at the contract sticking out of my cardboard box, intent on the tiny text lashed across a half-dozen pages. I see. Should I call you Mr. Pro Gamer now? It's not as obnoxious as smokes, so I can't complain. By the way, what's your real name? You just told this to me. Couldn't have asked before you set sail for better waters. Friends call me Koo. That's not Korean, and you'll see me around if you accept Minso's offer. You're right. I'm half, and I don't think I got much to gain. I don't think I've got much from hosting our next tournament, but I got nothing to lose. Maybe next month. I feel like his name should be Mark. We're gonna move on. Truth be told, running a PC Pong is dull business. Could use the variety. Must be nice to at least own your own business and building. I lease it, and the last set of PC upgrades sent me back. Running a PC Pong isn't what it used to be. Everyone owns a computer these days. You're the exception, not the rule. I'm aware. I grew up alongside the boom. You only know half the story. Back then, right as everything was coming together, owning a PC Pong was as good as it got. It wasn't just the money. Everything was changing. Before then were bad times. We came out of it, and just a few years later, we got the internet. A breath of fresh air for those gasping for freedom. The PC Pong was more proof of the progress that this country made in 30 years. But how much since then? It's a shame. Interesting. What, before the 90s? I've heard about what it takes from my dad. Things weren't so bad as long as you weren't a commie. Anyway, I doubt PC Pongs will ever fully die off, but you can't expect something like that to stay special forever. Don't think too hard when you compare the PC Pong and Starcraft. That's completely different. All I'm saying is change comes. When you're old and stubborn like me, it's not easy to take. You enjoy Canton? China? It was fine. Good to escape the cold. Lively, and not too well organized, but no one aside from us outsiders seemed to notice or care. Koo sighs wistfully and fills the air to the left with ash. Well, most things change. You've got plenty of time left, Bolt. Go make that name worth something. Ready? As I'll ever be. Don't be so nervous. Why shouldn't I be nervous? It's normal to be nervous in this situation. Because if you're nervous, you'll get a gray hair. Some of these guys were on the team way back then. They knew both that old me and the fake me that KPGA sold. Don't worry. The real you is worth getting to know. Before the end of our meeting, I want everyone to welcome Chae Young Song back onto Shock T1. She's joining as a practice partner, so expect matches with her if you're up against the Zerg. Welcome back, Jet.
We'll do our best to accommodate you. Let us know if you need anything. Thank you. I promise I'll exceed your expectations. Please treat me like a normal member of the team.
She bows slightly. A few of our teammates seem somewhere between taken aback and suspicious of her polite manner. She'll show that she's worthy of a spot on this main roster, trust me.
I'm excited to see if that's the case. Now then, Bolt and Jet, make sure you familiarize yourself with the schedule. No set practice hours, but we eat and exercise as a team. Your jackets should be in next week.
Man. Not gonna lie. For some reason, that just sounds like the coolest thing ever. One day. That sounds like such a generic and not the best goal ever, but one day I want to aspire to have a team jacket that I'm a part of. Something important enough that they have team jackets for. From what I've gathered, the truth behind this is no set practice hours means the players can simply grind until they can't take it anymore. The peer pressure and competition for a chance to play in Team League is aptly fierce.
Anyone have questions or concerns?
Shock T1 members shuffle amongst themselves, most either gathering to stare down Jet or trying not to.
Great. Team League's this weekend. If you're practicing on a map outside the pool, you better have a good reason.
Team breaks seamlessly when Fierce claps and turns away. Sheesh, Bonjour in the making, and surrogate coach, he's on another level. We looked up this last time, but I need to remember it. Turn to describe. Dominates, yep. Very, very good at the game.
Maybe 2 Starcraft League wins and it'll be undeniable. We'll be permanently sponsored, at least as long as Fierce stays on.
They share a laugh on their way out to the kitchen. Jet watches, alone on the sidelines. When I step towards her, she answers my question before I can even ask it.
I'm fine. Just soaking it all in.
Want to play? No time to waste.
No, yeah, let's do it. Can I come inside, please?
Jet and I keep Mensa corralled at the doorway. Letting random guests in the practice area isn't something either of us have the status to pull yet. Not a good idea, especially this early. Jet will tell you all about it. I've seen enough male underwear for 2 lifetimes. I have to wake 30 minutes earlier than everyone else if I want to shower.
Oh, that's so scandalous. Don't think I sound jealous. I'm definitely not. She's totally jealous. Oh, I just can't believe you live with Fierce. You know, if I could get a picture of his bed, the girls in his fan club would...
Pause. Tell us about the tournament. How's it coming along?
We're gonna call it All Out Attack. Some of my classmates seem interested, so I'm gonna push hard when we open signups tomorrow. Oh, and Excel said he'd try to make it out. I know he must be very busy practicing with AF1. I'd be so happy to know even if he just swung by.
It's a tall order for either of us, but we'll try our best to make it.
It's okay. I know how busy you guys are. We've seen you on TV so many times already, Sungwon. You're doing great.
I wouldn't call 2 for 4 great, but thank you.
Did you catch that quarterfinal match between Locke and Xing? It was crazy. Xing really is as good as they say.
Yeah, and Renown lost their chance to qualify for the Team League finals a while back. On top of ICG, things aren't looking good for Kijong. He's too storied of a player to let a few setbacks like that define his reputation, but EC Inside is taking it as a sign that it's time for him to hang it up.
I know, but don't let that devalue your win against him. I don't know if you've seen this yet, but...
Minsa digs around her bags until she finds her cell phone. A few seconds after frantic button mashing, she hands what looks like a popularity poll.
Look at that, you cracked the top 20. It's not the same as the player ratings or anything, but people like you. I saw someone say you'll be the first Royal Roader in years.
A Star League victory upon a player's first qualification to that tournament. A player who walked the Royal Road is called a Royal Roader. That's really cool. So you only have one shot, essentially. Of course, the last was Locke's Royal Road. It's an unreal feat by all standards, and something that just 3 players have accomplished in about 10 years. Don't hold me to that. Seriously, you can't even keep a winning record against me. Jet snatches Minsa's phone to take a look at her place in the poll. After just about a month back, she's sitting outside the top 10. Not that she's particularly pleased about it. Don't think that'll hold up if you qualify and face me in the bracket. At least you're willing to give me standard practice. Everyone else has me running builds I hate and timings I'm unfamiliar with. Practice partner life in a nutshell. It'll give you some much needed breadth. Jet shakes her head, skeptical, but before she can answer, Minsa sneaks between us and slips an arm around Chaeyoung's waist. Is your comeback interview today? Try to shout out all-out attack if you can. Not happening. Through Minsa's persistent pleas, Jet shoves a hand into her backpack and pulls free a plushie of some sort. Once she realizes she's been pickpocketed, Minsa's mischief turns to panic. I've been wondering what this was. Does it have a walkie-talkie inside it or something? Jet pores over the felt Zergling, searching it for a button or speaker of some kind. Hey, give me that back! He's, Huh, doesn't seem electronic. Is this really just a doll? It's not just a doll, it's Mutt! Minsa manages to get her hands on the wing, prying it away with more force than Jet was ready for. She cradles the stuffed Zergling protectively. You only get one shot, do not miss your chance. I'm not gonna miss it. I'm gonna do it, Cyclone. You got this. Things were hard when the club lost all its members. Even though we're back in action, I'm still friends with Mutt and Probe-kun. I hope you're taking care of him, Bolt. Why was the probe's name Probe, but the Zergling's name Mutt? Listen, we're done trying to apply logic to this. Minsa, you're unique, and I love that about you, but don't get caught talking to stuffed animals in public. When we don't offer any further judgment, Minsa nods and shows her obvious relief. I thought I'd been careful so far. Anyway, I'm probably gonna be late to school, but it was worth it to stop by. I'll tell Yuna you guys said hi. She and Jet quickly shared a quick hug before running off. Do you want to practice before your interview? Starcraft, I mean. Holy crap, this place is so fancy it's got flat monitors instead of CRTs. Or are they? Yeah, that's gotta be, right? Oh, no, never mind. They're definitely CRTs. I can see it now. I don't actually think I have time. I was gonna head out right now, actually. You're coming with me, aren't you? I wanted to get lunch after. If that's an invitation, I'll take it. While you're out, you mind taking a trip to the store? Here's a list of what we need on the whiteboard. Well, I guess not. Killer, thanks. That actually makes sense. I mean, if you're already out and about, get stuff for the team. It's all good. KPG and the production staffers pack the studio in preparation for tonight. It's no surprise. Tonight is the last semi-final match before the grand final. Fierce fights with the winner, either another Protoss named Ors, which is just somebody bowing, or Shing. By the way, I love that name. It's one of my favorite, like, emojis that never gets used. Or not emojis, whatever that's called, emoticons. The audience won't fill until later tonight, leaving plenty of time for interviews or other production needs. I'm surprised to see that journalists is about our age. Tight slacks and starchy shirt pin him as a guy trying to take the job seriously. He writes for a popular esports site, though that traffic comes more for the discussions than the articles. This is slightly embarrassing. What, that I'm here? No way. Plus I'm interested in what he'll ask you. I've done this a million times before when I took my hiatus. It's always the same. If it's not just an excuse to get a picture of me alongside their dumb article so that nerds will click, it's the same tired questions. They either want me to justify a failure of other women or vilify people who don't deserve it. Why can't they ask me what they ask players like Fierce? You'll have to be fierce if you want people to fawn on your every musing. Then why bother interviewing me in the first place? Because you have a unique perspective and personality. Uh-huh. Okay, because you're a girl. Just shut up and don't interrupt. I follow her only as far as the front row when they move too close to the booths at the back. It's possible for me to hear them both, though I can only see Jet. They exchange small talk for a bit until the interviewer dives in head first. So, let's start with the obvious. Why did you come back to why did you decide to come back to pro gaming?
Even though I haven't been on a team for the past year, I played Starcraft every day and continued to make my living with it, so I'm not sure I really ever left.
I see. Maybe then it's better to ask why you left your team last year. I don't recall hearing from you in any interviews at that time.
After a year and a half, I stopped enjoying my role on Shock T1, and wanted to take some time for myself. That's really it.
And now what's changed?
Yes, I'm trying to focus on myself as a player above anything else.
I see, stepping out of the personality role. Should we not expect to see the same Jet as before? What about the TVTs or female-only tournaments?
Well, I haven't really thought about it. I wouldn't be against either, but it's not what I'm thinking about right now.
What about commercials? You were a big part of the Shock T1 brand a year ago. To go from an icon to a practice partner begs plenty of questions.
Like I said, I'm trying to stay out of the spotlight until I'm ready.
Okay, shifting gears. What are your goals for the immediate future?
I'd like to qualify for XSL next season, or the season after that at the latest. I'd also like to maintain a 70-hour practice week until then.
That's quite ambitious, but with the facilities and teammates of Shock T1, I'm certain you can succeed. There have been rumors that Starcraft 2 beta might be released next year. Do you plan to give that any attention?
It depends on how our scene embraces it and if I find it fun. I haven't played it yet, so it's unclear whether it'll be any better at it than I am in Brood War. But I am excited to see how foreign players fare. The fresh start might start some very much needed worldwide competition to Starcraft Esports.
Speaking of which, you recently attended ICG in China. Were you happy with your performance?
I wasn't. Zen is decent, but I played like trash. I want to ask everyone not to underestimate me based on that performance. I hope to show that in Team League soon.
Shifting gears, aside of a few notable exceptions, women aren't typically seen in the top level of esports. Why do you think that is?
I had a conversation about that with a friend of mine that recently changed my outlook on it a little, though I can't remember her exact assertions off the top of my head. More of us have to want to be pro gamers. For that, we need role models. But honestly, maybe it's better that we don't have them.
Can you explain that?
Well, this life is really hard. If I can convince someone not to want it, I'd spare them a lot of suffering.
That's true.
Maybe someday it'll be worth looking up to. Until then, all I can do is focus on improving. I hope it's okay for someone in my position to say that.
I see. Then is it realistic for someone in your position to accomplish a Star League championship? Chaeyoung doesn't move. It's total silence between them for 5 seconds.
Jet, do you want me to repeat that? I don't know. I hope so.
Well, if any woman at all has a future at the Star League champion, it's you. That is everything I had to ask. Did you have any questions before I let you go? Jet rises. He has his answer in her departure. We're going. Sure. Want to get lunch before we go to the store? No, the park.
Are you coming or not?
That's very different. She doubles over, each heavy breath billowing out into the morning chill. I gulp down the cold morning air, leg muscles roaring in defiance, and yet eager for more.
Another?
Let's do it. We tear our way back around the horseshoe path. For the third time, I leave her behind and keep her there. Chaeyoung's heavy breathing is the only thing that lets me know she's following at all. A meter before the sidewalk ends and the grass begins, a crack in the concrete catches the toe of Jet's shoes, and she falls hard. I skid to a stop, watching as she catches herself on the way down. Momentum carries her another stride and tears her palms and elbows. It's crowded in the park, giving the time of day. We catch a few stares as I crouch down and attend to her. Oh God, are your fingers...
I'm fine. It's just a scrape.
She shows me her abrasion with a derisive look. As if I can even feel this, her face says. Do you want to stop? At least go wrap that up or something.
No, let's keep going.
It only took 3 trips for me to regain something resembling stamina I had a year ago. We start out close, but by the end she just can't keep up. I can hear her at least 2 full strides behind me at once I pass the halfway point. Without trying to rub it in, I let up the gas. Her ragged breathing grows near, but not in time to close the gap. I turn to see if Chaeyoung wants another, but she's already lined back up.
Last one.
All right. Chaeyoung heaves through her teeth and counts down. 3, 2, 1. I push off the ground, sore but alive with adrenaline. Before I know how much to kick it up, I want to see Jet's pace. She pulls ahead right away, but not by much. I could leave her in a cloud of sweat and dust, but that's not what I do. I keep up neck and neck as we round the halfway point. It's only once the end is sight that I kick into full speed. I take those last 5 or 6 strides hard enough that I overrun the finish by almost 10 meters. That felt good. What's your problem? Jet takes my jacket and vice with both hands. Winded as I am, I don't offer resistance when she pulls me down to her height. I feel her arms trembling, though whether it's from emotion or exhaustion is hard to know. The hell are you doing? Get off! She holds tight when I stand to try and push her away. She's desperate in anger, shakes me twice, and pulls me back down. Jet exhales a month, or maybe a lifetime's frustration. Do you think you're better than me? Jet, we're in public. Stop. Everything is fine. It's not. It's an insult. Then don't get mad that you're losing. Why? So you don't have to feel any guilt? Forget you! Make it hurt! How am I supposed to know you aren't doing the same thing when we're practicing now? Let go. Don't do that to me again. And don't ask me to apologize. I don't want us to fight. Talk to me. Will you tell me everything's okay, even if it's not? I'm so far from what I want, yet I'm told that it's fine. No one expects me to succeed. I'm scared that I'll believe it myself someday. I care about you, Chae-young. But if you break our pact, I won't forgive you. I'm not talking about that. Not really. You are. Just like you said, give it your all or don't play. I am. You're the one who slowed down. I hate you sometimes. Stop comparing yourself to others. As if you don't, then why race at all? I'd just run time trials if that was true. I haven't figured that out yet. Maybe because it's more fun with someone to chase or nip at your heels. You get second at ICG and 2 wins in Team League, and now you think you've got the authority to tell me what to do and think. The worst part is you actually do have it. Winners get to decide what's right. Do they deserve it? It doesn't matter if they do or don't. That's what I'm mad about. Don't try to turn this around on me. This is your fault. I won't pull any punches again. I promise you that. That's all I ask. I take that back. I want one more lap. Oh my gosh. Huddle up. Review time, boys. Bleary-eyed and groaning, most of the team pulls itself away from the trays of catered food, plates in hand. The scent of sizzling pork sausage, dumplings, and kimchi. The green beans wafts throughout the practice area. Oh, that sounds so good. You're killing me. The differences between CHB Renown and Shock T1 don't stop at team management and coaching styles, or even at the quality of food. Separation of living and working quarters sets expectations for how everyone is supposed to spend their time. Video chatting with a girlfriend you've been neglecting? Save it for the team house. 3-2 isn't what we'd like to see. SS5 might not have a king, but their roster ran deep and their 2v2's team actually know how this stuff. I'll always be there for the ace match, but AF1 won't go down that easily. Just the other day you said 2v2 is pointless. I think what I called it was a distraction, but even that's wrong. Fact is, it counts, whether we like it or not. Most teams are fine screaming cheese builds and gimmicks. We do alright considering they're finally cutting it next season. That's just a rumor. Sorry about my match. I don't know if you all want to run me as a sniper until I can figure out I don't... Oh, shoot. I don't know if you all want to run me as a... Oh, wait. It got rid of it for some reason. Sorry about my match. I don't know if you'll want to run me as a sniper until I can figure out a better way to get aggressive on these new maps. You're right. I don't. I want to run you on the 2v2 team. Also, we're going to do sniper because I want to know exactly what their definition is. A player sent out during Team League on in order to beat an anticipated opponent. Snipers must have a defining advantage, such as map, matchup, or player experience to defeat someone their team usually struggles against. Makes sense. That news hit the entire team as a surprise, particularly the current 2v2 team, 2v2 Terran, BLB. Are you sure? I have no experience with 2v2s. You'll have the right skill set and play the right race. We need you to shake things up, and I think PZ teams are way stronger than TZ teams. Whoa, what? You're gonna cut me from 2v2? Just like that? You can't throw this on me with no warning. You're always complaining about 2v2s. Did you think we weren't listening? It's true. In little than a month under the same roof, I heard BLB complain non-stop about how 2v2 practice makes it hard to qualify for Solo League. Even though I'm throwing this on you, Sunghwan, I'm not unreasonable. If it doesn't work out, you can go back to sniping. If you're fielding Sunghwan, let me try out for the other spot. She looks... That's an awesome jacket. Can I get one of these jackets? I know it's just literally just green and white, but it looks really good. All eyes turn towards Chae Young when she emerges from the crowd. Even a murmur breaks out. She doesn't falter. I have experience with 2v2s, and some you might remember, and I've grown a lot since then. You and Bold have some rapport, but Hong's been committed for 2v2s to more than a year. I can't just give you his spot like that. Actually, I'm fine with it. I've been wanting to give qualifying a serious shot before I retire. I've been wanting to bring it up for a while now. Hong runs his hand through matted hair with a sheepish grin. Hey. No, in that case, I'm glad you did. Alright, I'm putting you both on the roster for next week. If you're in the practice room, you're preparing for Team League. Whether you want to make up that time in 1 versus 1, it's up to you. I highly recommend if you two have any intention qualifying. Yo, Fierce, real talk. Did you secretly recruit them as 2v2 players? A laugh breaks out. Somehow it feels like it's at Jet's expense. Nah, just got an eye for players that step up. You might want to learn for that. Shots fired. Our teammate earns his own chorus of jeers as he mumbles something between an excuse and apology. With the matter settled, Fierce moves on to the latest few games, his own ace match included. I'm too focused on what the next week is going to be like to pay much attention. On the other side of the room, Jet catches me staring at her once before crossing her arms and refusing further eye contact. When Fierce concludes the match review, most of the team refills the plates and sits around the kitchen table. But when Jet finds a seat of one of the many vacant practice stations, I take the one next to her. I thought you hated 2v2. I'm really not up for your little ceremony of insults right now. Proceed. Hate isn't the right word. I didn't like 2v2 and probably still won't like it. Then why volunteer? Don't tell me it was just for me. Would it be so horrible if it was? This is about righting you wrong. My failure to take 2v2 seriously lost SOC T1 as a spot in the Team League final. The fans never picked up on it, but that was when the resentment started outweighing the novelty for my teammates. Interesting. So really it's about herself. I'll be honest, if I had to partner up with someone I couldn't count on to help me see this through, I would have stayed quiet. There's another benefit. It'll keep things fair. You get a full week ahead with a 1v1 practice otherwise. You're wrong if you think I have any intention of playing by your rules. No Star League champion takes her place by waiting patiently in the line. When do 2v2 lessons start? Like I said, I don't have a clue what I'm doing here. Let's start with the basics right now. First off, it's against the rules for both teammates to play the same race in 2v2. If it wasn't, basically every match would be ZZ v ZZ. And that's what the spectators would say. Boring. And that's more or less because Zerglings are so fast, right? Why don't we just design maps that negate that advantage? Trust me, they've tried. Anyway, the two best team compositions are Zerg and Protoss and Zerg and Random. Still don't know why the latter is allowed. A third of the time you coin flip Zerg and get a free win. A third of the time you get a Terran and probably lose. And the last third of the time the game's on even footing. I'm ideologically opposed to a Zerg and a Random team comp, so we'll only worry about it if our team's opponents try it. Also, a Zerg and Terran comp right now might be the weakest viable team comp, but don't underestimate it. I'm guessing that's what Fierce was talking about when he mentioned my skill set. Right, it's really, really important you can handle a rush, especially since Protoss is easier to isolate and pick off. So, what's our game plan? Our styles aren't similar at all. We'll need to scrim or ladder to find out for sure, but I already have an idea about how we're going to play. They'll have no idea what to expect. We'll make sure of that. Interesting. Wow! She really dressed up for this.
You guys made it! Hey Yuna, Jet and Bolt are here. Keep it down. Don't forget we could get in trouble if KPGA type catches wind. Sorry.
Oh my gosh, Yuna! I love it so much. That's adorable. Fancy. We fancy.
Welcome.
Dressed for the occasion, I see.
Haha, you missed late registration, by the way. Who's laughing now? We didn't come to play, just to watch and support Minso. Minsa. And I guess you too, Yuna. Gee, thanks. You're not gonna enter?
Minsa glances over her shoulder. Behind her, the first time that I've seen in Golden Zonefire. For the first time I've seen, Golden Zonefire is absolutely packed. There's at least one patron for every station, and Ku works frantically to chop down the massive line at his desk.
Well, I won't argue, but you can't stop me from being disappointed. Yuna, how long till 8? -3 minutes. Okay, gotta get things started. Talk to you after. Bye!
She bounds away, Yuna following in less than hot pursuit. With a flurry of gestures and charisma, Minsa commands the entire cafe's attention. Also, she has a megaphone. Her participants, about 30 or so, shuffle around the cafe in search of their first round opponents. Once they're seated, only a handful are left standing.
Thought I might be the only pro to show up. Chaeyoung Song, long time no see. I haven't seen you around too, but remind me of your name. Did you get a buy as well?
Sunghwan Lee. Sunghwan Yi. Bolt. We're not participating. It's against the KPGA rules.
It sure is. That's why you need to enter under another tag, like me. You'd risk your career for a chance at 100,000 won? What about your team? It's not about the money. I'll support grassroots organizations no matter what the rules say. Just don't tell on me, okay?
That opens up an entirely new line of attack, but reporting him just to steal a win isn't how I want to do this.
If you two aren't here to play, why come? We're friends with the girl running the tournament and came to support her. Oh, you're one of Minso's friends? You know her? Wow, I had no idea. Of course, she runs my fan club.
Also, I know she ain't not so fancy. Hey, I know that he definitely was not originally Western, but I ran out of ways to say stuff, so. Jet and I share a look. So far, so good. But instead of turning back towards Excel, something behind me catches Jet's attention.
Look, that clan is here.
Wen and a half dozen of his clanmates hang back, mostly keeping to themselves. Looks like Yuna is trying to corral them into their matches.
Why can't we just play here? Because this is the casual play area, and because you guys will find a way to cheat if we don't make you play in front of the crowd. This bracket is rigged. Why are we all against each other so early? Because you signed up late. Look, if you can't follow the rules, I'm gonna disqualify you. Be cool, Wen. You won't get a rematch against the clerk any other way. Cool. The tournament's bigger than we're expecting, so he won't have time to play. He forfeited already. Oh, come on! Minsa wrote a post on our site about some special match she had a few weeks ago. That was her opponent? Yeah. God, what is it with clans? I'm sure they were as bad as she said, but you're not a part of a clan? There are why some top players stick around even once they've gone pro. Never needed one. Oh, where'd you get your practice before breaking out then? After a moment of hesitation, she throws a thumb in my direction and looks away. Huh, and here you are now. You'll get stuck inside your own head when all you do is practice Starcraft. Having Chaeyoung around helps me out a lot. True, strategy or balance debates are rarely productive, but I never regret having them. That reminds me, AF1 and Shock T1 throws down this week. You think you're ready? We have Fierce, which means 2 automatic wins. Even with our terrible 2v2, we're an easy favorite. Something that Jet says catches Excel's attention, just as planned. That's a shame. They don't take it seriously?
That, and they're always complaining about rushes. Probably because they suck at holding them. Hard to blame, considering the rumors about 2v2s being cut. Just never took off in terms of popularity or compelling strategies. Be glad you'll take at least one game, but you're still going down. Huh, sure. You two are clever, but you're no match for me. Points for effort, though. Huh? What do you mean? I've been at this too long. Your amateur mind games won't work on me. Yeah, let me define mind games. I'm pretty sure most people know what mind games are. In fact, this must mean that you're back on Shock Team 1's team, Chae Young. Thanks for the info. What? No, I'm not. Don't think I've forgotten about you used to exclusively play 2v2. I didn't want to. They made me, and that isn't the point. Hey, Sungwon, does she rejoin the 2v2 team? No. Sungwon! Well, I'm gonna play soon. See ya. I can't believe this. He's good. They're going to study my games now. I'm screwed. Maybe we should just go. I don't want to risk slipping up again. You won't. He didn't figure out I'm your partner. And come on, we're here for Minsa. We glance in her direction. Looks like she's giving some kind of interview. So, Killer Hua, can you tell me how you prepared for all-out attack? I guess I played some ladder. Wow, so great. Your opponent Bonbon said very much the same thing. What's your impression of him as far as the next game's concerned? Well, I don't know him at all, so... That's okay. Is there anything you'd like to support to your fans before? Minsa pauses, squints at her hand, then attempts to return to her upright and cheery disposition. I catch a glimpse of some black marker scribbled on her palm. Oh my gosh. Sorry, is there anything else you'd like to say to your fans before we get started? Dude, I don't have fans. Oh, right. Well, both players, please shake hands. Two high schoolers meet palms pitifully. I've seen better handshakes from moms practicing with their elementary schoolers in Hagwon for interviews. That's kind of savage. When they take their seats for the match, Minsa steps away and sighs audibly. This is hard. Is it fun? Well, sure, but it's hard to get answers. I wrote down all the things that the XSL's hostess says. I'd avoided yes or no questions. You're trying, but these guys don't have the media training or personalities to say anything interesting. Don't be mean. I'm being honest, and I've got an idea. Just as the next round is getting underway, Minsa calls for the featured players to step towards the front. This time, however, her eyes dart for Yuna instead of her palm. So, Zergza, how easy is it going to be for you to beat Think? Huh? I mean, I should win if I play well. Think, how do you feel about that? He said it'd be easy. I've never even heard of Zerg. By the way, I'm the best player at my cafe. What does that matter? I got 5th at Braver a few months ago. On Saturday, I bet. Hi, Aquafox. How you doing? Hopefully having a good one. Yuna nods at her approval as the verbal back and forth ignites into a shouting match. Handful of eliminated competitors and spectators perk up with interest. Minsa tries to get the interview back on track, but the competitors storm off to their stations before she can. Whose hey is that? Concha. Was that a default emote? I've never seen that one before. Mission accomplished. That was horrible. I made them both upset. Maybe, but now a grudge match instead of a game between two random amateurs. That's a good point. I am good, but Yuna is scaring me. Nah, Yuna's awesome. She's just eternally exhausted because she sleeps never and is studying way too much for a test. I can't agree with this. It should be possible for games to be entertaining and everyone to stay respectful. Sorry, Minsa. Not happening. At least with the crowd and the players you've got here. You know, she makes a really good point. Oh, did I just break my jacket? Oh no! I ripped my shirt on my jacket. That's so messed up. Sorry, I'm trying to move my jacket because... There we go. Not to put it on, but to use it as more like a blanket. My legs and feet are always cold. I don't know why, just how I am. The KPGA teaches players how to act on camera, so this doesn't happen. I'm not a fan of provocation either, but it's better than no story for the audience at all.
Story? What story?
Are you kidding me? You should know this better than anyone. When the commentators go on and on about defining a player's style and personality, it's not just about informing the audience. They're selling the player as a character. How do you know that Fierce and Locker rivals?
Well, duh, they always play each other, and they're the best Protoss and Terran.
They've matched maybe 3 times this year, and okay, obviously season's last finals was a big one, but in this season intro, they always face off with an exaggerated pose. And not just that, Locke is kind of quiet, and Fierce is definitely upbeat, but those two are not the embodiments of dark and light. But since we feel that they are, it makes their match way more interesting when it finally plays out. Here, give me 2 seconds. Hopefully you'll find Yuna less scary. Oops. Ow. Ew. Stop that. Oh, ow. I think I messed up my knee. Whoops. Oh, that really hurts. That's weird. Moving on.
It sounds as if someone's pulling the strings behind the scenes. Are we being lied to?
Lied to is an exaggeration. I don't think so. The KPGA is honest in their portrayals, even if they can be hyperbolic. The audience senses that authenticity, whether they realize it or not. Pro gaming is really about people. Everything that goes into a match is the sum of one person's existence versus the sum of another's.
Okay, I think I understand.
The certainty which she delivers that line leaves us taken aback. Jet and I watch Min's gesture for Yuna and her cue cards. Soon enough, the next round is underway. After a private word with Excel, Minsa brings him and his opponents to stand before the crowd.
Congratulations on making it this far, Zergs. Your next opponent is Big Boy Bang Bang. I think there's no denying this is going to be a challenging max for you.
Excel smiles cheekily as a pseudonym is read aloud. Big Boy Bang Bang. That sounds like the worst cover name ever. I kind of love it. That would be the fun thing. If you were really good at something, like, and then you got to just go top 10 usernames. I love the idea of being so good at something that you want to go and you want to be like super incognito about it. So you just pick literally the worst names you can think of. Like usernames that just sound awful.
Yeah, honestly, I'm just happy to play someone as good as him. You mentioned you tried to qualify for Braver. Were you hoping to secure a pro gaming license or just participating for fun? I just wanted to see how far I could get, I guess. But there's no way my parents would ever let me go pro even if I did win. I'll be a high schooler next year, so I'm not sure I'll have time to keep playing Starcraft. I see. Hyunkyu, you know a bit about Braver yourself, don't you? Can you tell us about the time you won?
Of course you'd know about that. I must have been 2000. I was just a kid. That morning was so cold my water bottle froze shut. I got to KOEX way too early and sat in the hallway for like 30 minutes just trying to keep my hands warm. I get to the finals and I see him against Og. He's 18 but scrawny and doesn't know a word Korean. We get play through a tough set and then he chokes it and throws away match point. He was beaten up about it. I went over to him and said something like, "Tomorrow you," in English. Kind of meaningless in retrospect. I was just trying to be nice. Very next day, he came back and won his license. I'm not sure I had anything to do with it in reality, but I'd like to think I played a small role in that win with the Royal Road that he followed.
That's so cool. How come I never heard about that?
Get busy living it out yourself. You have to go through me first.
Looks like these two are eager to get started. Players, please shake hands and get to your stations.
Big Boy Bang Bang. Ugh. Say it. You should be thanking me.
Come on, say it.
You two are lucky I agreed to this in the first place.
Just say it. She needs this.
Minsa stands tall, her eyes shining. Not one, not even Ku, can deny that smile. So adorable. Fine. You can do another next month.
Whoa, thanks, Mr. Clerk.
Need some quiet and fresh air after all that noise. Wash the place for a minute, will you?
Can do.
That was kind of fun, wasn't it? Man, shut up. Totally lost their accent because don't worry about it. We should head back, Sunghwan. It'll be a problem if the last one's home tonight.
Oh, well, thanks for coming, you guys. It'll be obvious that I probably don't need to say it, but you both helped me so much. I've got a firm idea of what I need to do after I graduate this year.
It was a blast, Minsa. Really brings me back to my PC Pong days. Thank you for the invite.
Anything for you. I'm so honored you even came. Wait, where did Yuna go?
Cool. Do you have a second? The clerk looks up from a busted PC with the case open, exhausted. Minsa's success have clearly taken a toll on him. I already said they can run another.
No, not that. I want some advice, I guess.
What's on your mind?
Well, I've been reading some of those books you suggested. I'm the part about an alienation. What little I understood resonated with me.
I don't blame you. They're hard to read.
That's its own problem. But what I'm asking is, what should I do about it? Ooh.
You're doing something about it right now. You were alienated from your ability to determine what to study in school, so you went and studied something of your own. That feels good, doesn't it?
Yes, but I can read books all day and get to where I need to.
That's right, you can't. It's not self-help. If that's what you're after, then find some allies. You're weaker when you're isolated.
I already know that, and it's not helping. What were you doing at my age? Give me someone to compare myself with.
I was angry when I was your age, even though we were what we were. Even though what we were up against deserved all that anger, it got us nowhere. We lost. There is nothing romantic about that. Nothing worth emulating. You work hard and you're good at what you do. Your suffering has a good chance of paying off in the end. That ain't the case for most people.
Yuna, there you are! We're gonna go get dinner. Wanna come? I'm right behind you.
I love how just like impromptu friends they became. Like I knew they knew each other from the class, but like I don't think they would have ever become such good friends had Yuna not bumped into me at the Goshi one. I think it was a Goshi one. This is the problem. I don't remember all the words. Goshi one. Hey, I was right. What up?
Sunghwan, a few of us are going to the batting cages tonight. Wanna join?
I'll pass. Young and I are working on a map-specific tactic. I'm gonna stay late and grind.
Oh, alright. Fierce is reshooting promos for the final at the studio tonight, so close up when you're done.
He throws a hand on his way out alongside our other teammates, and when they're gone, I toss my head back and let out a long groan. 10 hours and I'm ready to collapse. I must be getting old. I expect Jet to bite back with a quip about my work ethic, but she doesn't. We pride ourselves in our long practice hours, but there's no doubt they're slowly killing us.
It was easier when we were younger.
I'm not convinced old players retire because they have a worse reaction time. It must be because we have less tolerance for absurd conditions as we get older. I'm inclined to actually believe that. To be fair, I feel like that's going to happen with a lot of streamers too. So many streamers, like, spend excessive amounts of time, like way more than a normal work day, working on streaming stuff, and that's always going to burn people out. Stop looking at that. I can complain in the privacy of your company, can't I? If you don't mind looking a little pathetic, I don't disagree with you, by the way. Yuna said something to me the other day about banning Hogwan. What if the KPGA banned practice for more than 8 hours a day? But What if people genuinely want it, like, they'll get home and they're like, man, I really want to play this game. Too bad I can't. Like, what do you do? Totally unenforceable. We'd play at a lower level and show worse games. Would we, though? How much better is it for the game that we nail a macro cycle 1/10 of a second faster? Especially if the trade-off is a reasonable life for the players. I cannot even comprehend the hypothetical world you've envisioned here. It's a feeling I try to ignore. How much things could be better for everyone if not for the insurmountable truths. I mean, it's better for you and me like this. I just have a vague guilt about it. Let me try again. The means or the ends? Which is more important? I'd have more admiration for a super skilled hermit who never competes for more than half. Sorry. I would have some more admiration for a super skilled hermit who never competes than for some chobo who coin flips his way into qualifying. But don't get me wrong, we play to win the game. Right, to win again and again. You have to care less than someone who only thinks about how to win the match right in front of them. I see what you mean, that's true, but it's not a contradiction. Do you know who Ryu is, Seunghwan? From Street Fighter. I've never played that game before. Well, when you win with Ryu, they show a ceremony for his victory. His fans are waiting for him, but he never arrives. Then they show him walk a lonely road with something like, seeking his next challenge. The ceremony means nothing. The fight is everything, written beneath. I don't know if there was a specially wise Japanese guy working on that game, or if there's a common karate refrain, but it's the truth that every pro gamer should pursue. We mean the same thing when we say we want to show good games. No, we don't. You can show a good game even if you lose. But when the fight is everything, you have to be standing at the end of it. The joy of landing a perfect punch square on somebody's face, maybe that's a little too violent. Okay, let me put it in a way you'll get it. When you land that perfect Psy Storm, it's more than just knowing how much damage it did or how much it helped you win. You feel it, don't you? I get that feeling losing a game too. If I go into a battle favored to lose, it feels better to go down swinging than let him roll me. But if you lose, that just means you got punched more than you landed punches. You feel that too. Can you switch to a racing metaphor? Look, this is hard to talk about. They don't teach it in school that I know about, and people have figured it out won't share it. Work with me here. We can make no mistakes and still lose. It's probably isn't true, but that's how it felt like my games win against Sen. I accept that. On my end, there's nothing I could have done to beat Fierce. How can you say that, especially after you beat Locke? Don't you get what I'm saying? Losing without a fault doesn't mean it's okay to... Oh, I was right, that was her. Losing without a fault doesn't mean it's okay to lose. Did you just limp into a match with Locke and walk out the winner? What? No, if you actually watched my game, you would know that. You know that isn't fair. Then don't tell me I didn't deserve my win against Ki Jung. Why don't you see for yourself? I've got the replays right here. Watch them. I didn't say that, and I don't think it. Chaeyoung scoops up the probe keychain and drops it back into my hand. A guy like Fierce can break down barriers by force of will. Not because he's especially strong, but he's too stupid to know that it shouldn't be possible. I see it all the time in successful people, but I'm sure that for every Fierce there's a dozen more who bash themselves against the walls until they drop dead. That's what I hate. That we can't dispel the fog by complaining about it all around us. All we can do is push ahead. Locke embraces the unknown to find his certainty. Why can't we? We can, but only once we've been there where he has. I stuff the keychain back into my pocket. When I say nothing, she turns back to her PC. Run it again. Oh, Minsa. Tired. I'm so tired. 2 more club meetings till the practice test, Minsu. You're almost there. Stop. Oh, hello, Yuna. Have you been working hard? Look at how tired Minsu is. I bet she hasn't slept for 2 days. Give him back. Fool. Now that I'm in the hands of a capable master, I'll decimate this club and claim my kingdom. Zergers forever. Oh,
Whoa, Yuna, you're really good at voices. Next time say for the swarm instead. I don't know what came over me. I wish some of the club members had showed, but I'll forgive them with the practice exam so close. You sent the tapes, right? Yep, and thanks for all the help with my resume. I had no idea you could turn so little experience into 2 pages of bragging.
I really hope she didn't send Excel's tape, because otherwise he'll get in super trouble.
They all out attack footage to push your audition video over the top. Make sure you shop it around, just in case. Maybe I'll send it to VSL. Oh, wait, it's about time for Hawk1. Ready to go? I want to get some decent food first. I'm tired of the junk my tutor gives us during breaks. But we're gonna be late. Who cares? Let's go. Wait.
Wait, what? That was literally it? That was the entirety of... Okay. The last pen before the end of our route. Neither of us can resist stepping at the pace as we wind around it. The winner earns pointless victory etched eternally on our metal chalkboard amid 1,000 others. This time it's me. I skid to a stop, then double over, sated. Jet wipes her forehead with her shirt and heaves a breath. I watch her with my hand atop my head.
One more?
This was the second one more. We should leave some time before the press event. She grumbles in disagreement before stepping off, but steps off the starting line. Sure, she shares the resentlessness I'm feeling about tomorrow's Team League semifinal. We polished our build for days, enough such that there's practically nothing left to do except pray it works. It's still beneficial to grind out standard practice, but when these kind of nerves are clawing at us, it's not just Shock T1 counting on us for a win, or that this is Jet's first televised match within almost a year. It's about us. We are an us. Everything we've been through should give me more confidence that she feels the same way. Fear that she doesn't is all that's keeping me from confirming it.
Can I be honest about something for a sec?
I really hate Shock T1's team jacket, don't you? Hey! I like it! It's not bad. I don't think green is your color.
I just don't like it. I had to get that off my chest. Something about it.
Makes you remember a different time. You know, I haven't seen you talk to anyone outside of practice.
I'm not like Synthé or Minsa. Socializing doesn't come naturally to me.
But you don't hold back when you have something to say either. Yet every night when I watch you silently stare down anyone who says something dumb or complains about Zerg, my guess is when you open your mouth, some embarrassing thing you did or said as a 16-year-old Shock T1 recruit pops in your head, and then you cringe yourself silent.
They made me an outsider then too. Nothing's changed. Nobody treats me differently, and it's not going until I prove I am different. It's not like I really care. I already know how to fix it.
Then I won't bother you about it again.
That's the most reasonable thing you've said all week.
Thanks, friend.
Thank you, Bolt.
She bows hurriedly and tiptoes out of line to mingle with the rest of those who waited. Small packages, sweets, left as thanks for my signature. Neon lime green is a bad color. I mean, it looks very out of place for you, Cyclone. I don't actually think it's a bad color. I don't have an issue with it, personally, but my favorite colors are obviously purple. Like, my favorite colors are purple, and then I also like, obviously, what makes up my icon.
4 fangirls wave back and smile shyly when I offer my farewell.
I'm not going far, but another player has been waiting for my spot at the signing table. A few tables down on my right, Jet's barely chipping away at the line of 2 dozen or so. Aside from a few young girls here with their parents, almost all of our fans are men. Earlier, one tried to get Jet to sign something that made her mad. I didn't get a look, but when Chaeyoung yelled at him, he ran away. Fan events like this are usually less chaotic. It's either the top players or the top few teams instead of both. I guess whatever charity the KPGA is working wanted maximum star power. Fierce's line winds far past the escalators. Seated right next to him is Locke, waits coolly before nearly as many fans. Coach Pock steps into my view. When his eyes turn in my direction, I greet him with a tilt of my head. He says nothing. I manage to stifle my laugh when he frowns and steps away. Jet finally polishes off her last autograph and practically throws the pen down. She's quick to bow and retreat from the table, joining me with a huff. All the usual suspects and then some. You had like 40 fans. If you're looking for sympathy, look somewhere else. It was closer to 30, and only a few of them are fans. Most of them are... I don't even know what to call them. They're just here for a novelty of seeing me again. Cannot wait to see you win something so I can finally hear the end of your insecurity. You're lucky that guys who aren't me haven't figured out yet. They'd prey on it endlessly. Jet stares at me for a while before turning away to sit by herself. Looks like I hit a sore spot. Ow, my eyes. Poor Cyclone. Fangirls already? Of course. Gosh, duh. To be fair, I'm pretty sure, like, anybody who gets in the top league just kind of naturally will get a fangirl, no matter what. It's just a given. Whatever, go and sulk. I'm right about that. I turned down the hallway in search of a water fountain. Despite the number of times I've been here, I haven't explored much of them all. I find it flanked by 3 pro gamers. Kijong, Yunho, and Jejong stand against the wall beside the faucet. When they notice me, they quiet their conversation in favor of a greeting. Oh, it's Sungwon. Enjoying the spotlight? Shouldn't I be? Only gets better from here. They laugh at my curt reply while I take my drink. Locke simply watches. I see you found some confidence. I can't blame you. Those fans of yours were cute. Sungwon's handsome, so it must be nothing new. Just like Locke, you can't appreciate them like the rest of us do. I didn't get in this for the fans. They're not that important to me, frankly. Well, that makes sense. You have Chae Young-song following you around after all. When you put it that way, maybe he's the one following her. Enough. Locke brushes Yunho aside. He quiets, stepping out of the way. Excuse them, Sunghwa. We've been stressed to perform lately. So is everyone else. Is there anything I really have to say to Locke? I have every right to hold a grudge for what he did. But just talking to him like that reminds me of the times I still look back at fondly. Even with what I know now, my instinct is to blame anyone but him. Maybe it's better that I don't get involved for both of our stakes. I know he has struggles of his own. Something behind me suddenly catches the attention of the 3 former teammates. Turn to see myself. Vice Chairman Cho marches towards us with purpose and a low-level KPGA admin in flank. The former struggles to keep up with the superior pace. Hey. I need to speak with these 3. Please excuse us. Yes, sir. Kijong steps out of the wall without pause. Both Zhejiang and Yunho glance my way before turning to stare up at Vice Chairman Cho like mice. Catch a bit of what Vice Chair has to share with Locke, Yunho, and Zhejiang before I head off. You 3 should be aware of certain changes planned for Renown. Your loyalty and skills have earned you. At least they still have a spot. I guess. Another long evening spent in devotion to Brood War. After the press event, Jet and I put one last bit of polish to our build together before making the walk back to the team house together. She is quiet and has been all night. Anything I bring up unrelated to Starcraft, she answers in a quiet hum and no elaboration. Until now. Sunghwan. I look up and notice the distance between us. She waits just before a crosswalk. Oh, sorry. But when I catch up with her, she doesn't turn. Let's be honest for each other for 1 minute. I've been almost entirely alone for the past 4 years. My dad's gone and my mom barely looks at me when I go home. God, I've been clinging to an old classmate just to have someone to talk to. You called me bored and a lonely girl. You were right. I was lonely. Was. All I can think is that this will be over soon. We'll lose, the team will fail, or one of us will get cut. That's not true. Can you really promise that? You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow or the day after that. I just want to know if we're real with each other. If it's not the insults. I can take them if I have to. But when I tell myself you don't really mean them, I worry that the promises I do want to believe aren't true either. You want honesty? Alright. We only hang out because it's convenient for you. That's always been the case. When you needed practice or someone helped scamming PC Pong kids, you know I say yes. We're adults now, professionals. I can accept that fact without letting it bother me. We work too well together not to. So you've been doing me a favor, that is? Or you think you're guarding me so another guy can't find my insecurities or whatever the hell you said? I wouldn't stay involved if I didn't like you. As if you didn't know. How would I know? If you weren't so guarded all the time, I might. Ajuma, it's a grandma! A random grandma talks to her. Oh my gosh, I love it. Is everything alright, young... That's not a grandma. Is everything alright, young lady? To our right, a woman in magenta, a tracksuit with frizzy black hair, jogs in place towards us cautiously. Her eyes shift behind thick-rimmed glasses in my direction. Goodness. She's not the only passerby watching us. Clearly, we chose a bad place and a worse volume for this discussion. Okay, why are there two? What? Yes, we're fine. There's no problem. Good grief. Don't settle for a man who won't speak to a lady with respect. Alga, what's happening to our youth? Heiko, what's happening to our youth? The woman backwards walked off without giving Chae-young the time to refute her assumption. With the rest of the pedestrians staring on, Jet takes my sleeve and pulls me away. As if I could stand so much time around a trash person like you otherwise. She ignores my attempts to break out of her grip. Only once Jet pulls me all the way to the crosswalk and the side streets does she slow. I don't know what I'd do without someone I can be myself around. I trust you, Sunghwan, and I try to show it. Cyclone, you're not allowed to cyclone yourself anymore. Don't worry about it. But you never show that you trust me. You don't have to, but I want you to. Let your mask down for a change, even if it's just around me. Ahead of every other feeling I have for you is admiration. It isn't your play, and you're not like the Seven Kings anyways, but you're tough, pushy, in a good way. You're bad at this. Maybe, but that's how I feel, and I'll never ask you to change. I feel like that is the perfect way. Wait, that's just a color change. Hey. Nope, color changes are actually a different person. That's a fact. That's why I always get confused when I see different colors in there or people picking the same colors. Either way, that's going to be the end of today. We made it a whole 4 hours. So I'm happy. My throat, less happy. But this is getting good. Well, it's been good. I'm really, really enjoying this. So I'll see you back on Sunday. I'll make sure to get this. Well, Jovine, that does look like there are two from Cyclones at first glance. Oh, I totally agree. I'm going to get this uploaded soon, and then the other, the second part 2 is already up on YouTube. I just need to actually make it public. So I'll see you guys then. I'm gonna go ahead and play us all out. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.
Scream from the top of my lungs with sensuous impulse. I got the feeling.